All right. So I do have about 1,700 posters sitting right here in my office, and we've already had several people. The Lenexa Club, the Leewood Club have got several of them. I sent 150 over to Deb Rodenbach-Schaub over in Manhattan, and she's been using a lot of her contacts because she's got a contact at the League of Municipalities. She's got that. She's got a contact there that she's been sharing this with, and several different others. She was with in the Manhattan leadership thing there, and so she's been sharing it with a lot of her classmates from that. So some of them are going out already, and of course, as Jennifer knows, I'm only 5 minutes away from the AG's office. I can always breeze down and get more if we need them. And we're shipping them out of my office. Just it's easier that way. We got staff that can help with that. And in fact, Nancy Barber with the Leewood Club asked for 50 each in Spanish and Chinese. And so we found some stock in a paper stock in our office here and printed those off and sent those out to her today.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
So I want to make sure that we can get this in the hands of as many clubs as possible. And how many clubs do you have in Oklahoma, Fred?
We have 4 in Oklahoma.
Okay, so that means we have 112, 112 clubs in the state of Kansas. And there's 12 of them that are in the 6 counties that are in 6110, which that's Judy's district.
Right.
So, I'm ready to distribute these however you want. I mean, and I was wanting to get input from all of you on how to do that. And there was a question that came up here in the office that I wanted to ask Jennifer what if we have Rotarians that are going into like strip clubs or adult bookstores or what have you, and they just flat out refuse to even talk to you or even look at it? What are we supposed to do there?
I don't think there's anything you really can do, but just leave in a way that's, that'll protect your safety. I mean, if people are aggressive and if they aren't willing to comply, then that is that. I mean, you all certainly aren't the enforcers,
Right.
Of that. And that's the thing with this kind of a law. There's not a huge enforcement authority. I mean, it's required, but with a lot of laws like that, try again, I guess, but don't do anything that would put you in any sort of danger or any other Rotarian. That would be my advice.
Would there be any reporting or anything like that we would need to do, or we just leave it?
There's no reporting required. It would be interesting to know how much pushback you're getting, I think, just anecdotally, but not a formal report.
Okay. I'm writing that down. Okay.
But if somebody refused to put them up, don't you think that would be really suspicious? That maybe we should report it.
Well, I mean, if
It's like saying that somebody doesn't haven't gotten vaccinated, they've got COVID, and not, it's just some people just don't like to be told what to do. So
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I've got a quick question for you. Since this is such an interstate effort, have there been any bumper stickers made that can be placed on vehicles or shared in a similar kind of way as posters, but really out and about, where the transferring or transportation of these trafficking issues are taking place? So I have to believe that would be an interesting place to have a moving poster.
That's a good question. And yes, a couple of years ago, we partnered with an organization called In Our Backyard, and we created stickers They weren't bumper stickers, but they are small stickers this big that go on mirrors in convenience stores and bathrooms and other places. And that was sort of geared toward the transportation industry where potential victims could go into the bathroom and see
Right.
the number in a private area. We worked with what's it called now? It's different. It was the Convenience Store and Truck Stop Association. I think they've been renamed to Fuel Secure or something. We partnered with them in the past and had distributed many of those. We still have some of those.
Mhm.
If people are interested in those as well. And I know how to get more if there were a real need.
Well, I think if we're distributing things, we ought to use our whole resource menu of items to do that right now, because if you've got them and we've got people that are willing to use this, I would certainly suggest offering that, because some people, that may be more of a place going into the restaurants or working with businesses and meal locations and stuff. That may be a better opportunity for them.
I have a few of them. My only concern would be as not to confuse people, because the posters in the rules and regulations associated with the mandatory posting law,
Mhm.
that's what's creating this distribution of posters, specifies certain content that has to be on the posters.
Gotcha.
That same content is not on the stickers. And
Gotcha.
that's because they're two different efforts. So we don't have the QR code, for example. So I agree with you. I just am not sure we want to get messy at this point. Not to say that if people want them, they shouldn't have them, because I'd be happy to give what I have to anybody.
Right. No, I get that. So we can keep it simple, and I have to believe this isn't going to be a 1-year effort. I think we got plenty of opportunities to change the messaging and keep it going. So
Yes.
So Jennifer, does it matter where it's posted? I know, and have they changed a lot? Because I know in my office, we already have them on the back of every bathroom door.
Mhm.
Do we need to change those?
Let me look at the law here. I printed it out. I think it says shall be posted in a prominent and accessible location. So there's two sides to that question. On one hand, where you have them posted is good for potential victims. If it's a private place, they can see the hotline, they can text or call for help in private so as not to be, gotten into any trouble. On the flip side, putting it in a prominent and accessible location is also really important. And that's what's written in the law for businesses required to post according to this new law. So I would say you could do both. If you really want to be on it, you could put one in an accessible place, a more public facing place. And you could also put that same information in a more private area.
Well, another one,
Question 2, have they changed? Do I need to get new ones?
New posters.
Yeah.
So we grandfathered in the old posters because we didn't want people who already have them like you to not be in compliance. But we did change the poster a little bit to include the KBI QR code down in the right-hand corner. And that's really important because that's a really quick way to report it really quickly. And that is a new feature of the updated poster that we have available on our website and the ones that Farron came over and picked up.
Okay, thanks.
So
So
is
I-
there a time element on distributing these, Farron? Because when we talk about getting it to all the clubs, we've got our Pets Conference coming
It's
up
coming
here
up, yeah.
right.
that is right there. But I mean, that is,
It's 2
Not
months
quite.
away.
7 weeks away, but that seems to be the easiest. But I know we have frequency to in some cases sooner than that, which if it's convenient, that's not a problem. But just your thoughts.
It's not a problem for me to just to mail them out and then bring extras down to Pets. I've got, as I said before, I've got about 1,700 of them still in my office here. And I'd love to get rid of those and go down and get more and and start distributing even more. So they're not doing any good sitting in my office. They need to be in the hands of people who's going to distribute them. So as soon as we can get them out, I'm willing to get them to whoever. And for instance, like if Fred wanted to get, 500 or 1,000 of them shipped to him now, and then find a way to get them to his clubs, I'm perfectly fine with that. We can get them down to you tomorrow.
But you're not talking about mailing them out to each club. You're just talking about mailing them out to a certain, a bulk of them.
What I think would be, what I'm kind of envision here is if, since both of you are DGs, if you could address this with your clubs and talk about these posters and give my information to them so they could email me if they want them. That way you give the clubs the choice. You're not just pushing it on them, but you're saying, here's something we're trying to get done, and give them some information about what we're trying to do, and let the clubs make the call on that. That's what I would suggest, but you guys may have a different idea.
Well, with the poster, does the law, that one sheet that you sent us about the law, does that come with it? Or is it just the poster?
Well, what I'm sending out is just the poster, but I can
Okay.
always forward over the talking points and the links to the law, because all the stuff is there. I mean, one of the things that was brought up in our office here is, when it says sexually oriented businesses, well, that's a pretty broad statement. I mean, what exactly does that mean? And then there's a link in there where you can dig into it even further, and it tells you exactly what a sexually oriented business is. So that's very helpful, because I've had that asked several
Yeah.
times, and I just, instead of trying to explain it, I send over the link and you can read it yourself, because it's right there in black and white.
Right.
Well, we have a network already established that I hate to try to recreate the wheel. I mean, we've got assistant governors, and we've got club presidents and president-elects and the whole 9 yards. And there's a part of me that would suggest that, the first step, if you want to get them to me as the district governor, I understand. I'm in Topeka enough that I can do that, but the assistant governors is kind of the next line for their communication with clubs. And then maybe we get a pile of them, whatever the choice would be, in their hands to distribute to the clubs. And then we also, I think we have a pile at the pets, because, if president-elects choose and take home as many as they want, at that point in time, they can, because I don't think you can come at this too many directions, but the president-elect is the Pets Conference is definitely the place where we've got the most consolidated bunch of clubs to do stuff with. But I understand if starting the process earlier in that, it's just a matter of how many you take and what you got time to distribute. So, and part two of that is I did prepare a message. I consolidated the press release from the Attorney General's and the talking points, and prepared it for the February newsletter for our district. And I told Mandy, I said, if anybody else is doing this, meaning you or Patty, please, let them go forward, but just know that all of that information is in our, at least in the plans to be in our February newsletter. So.
Good.
And are these posters 8.5 by 11, I'm assuming?
8.5 by 11, and I have several that are 11 by 17 as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the original size. The 11 by 17 are the ones that we first started making. We also made an 8.5 by, I'm confused, 11, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In case, but it can't be any smaller than that. That's the minimum size allowed.
And that seems to be what most people are wanting, is the smaller ones.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
And I can tell you they're a lot easier to ship too.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I would go so far as, in this day and age, I hardly even want posters given to me, because everybody's got, or not everybody, but a lot of people have color printers, and they can, I would say, if you could get us a PDF version, a color version, so that in the early phase, we can distribute that out to people. And then the posters can kind of follow up and complement in a better quality format later down the road. So
Well, here's,
It's on our website.
yeah,
we can do that, pick that up off the website. Okay.
Yeah, and you can also pick it up
that's
in
it
the
right
other, yeah. You can
Okay.
pick it up in the other languages on the website too. I think we have
Right.
6 languages available
Oh,
on the
that's cool.
website.
yeah, Spanish, Chinese, Hmong,
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese and Korean.
Yeah, I saw that in the release, so that's good. So I like that. So,
Yeah, so if you go to the AG's website and you click on the link, human trafficking, and you scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll have all, this is where that comes from right there.
well, one of the things that I find the most valuable of all, I think, for our Rotarians is those talking points.
Hmm.
So I think that's a good education piece.
Absolutely.
Everybody kind of thinks they know what human trafficking is, but
Right.
being able to define it in talking points is even a better education itself. So,
Good. I'm glad those are useful. Because when one of you guys asked me to put those together for your conference it was right before I left for Africa, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad we've been able to repurpose them and make them useful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is helpful, especially like Vern said, for people who have not been taking the deep dive like some of us have on this subject. It's helpful to give them the points that, we kind of take for granted and so that they know that what to say when they're confronted.
Right.
so Jennifer, would those talking points be considered universal by certainly by US terms, but how about international terms? Is that a fairly generic list of talking points, you think?
I'm trying to remember exactly what I put on there, and I compiled them from multiple sources. I think they are fairly generic, yes, and they can be adapted to, when I'm thinking about them just off the top of my head, international settings. And when I was over in Uganda for the Peace Fellowship, what I saw, and I was in the communities and I was looking at situations, and I would say, trafficking is the exploitation of a person's vulnerabilities. I mean, simple as that. You want to distill it down. So yeah, I think it's pretty universal.
Good. We've got, there's a young lady here that's in Haiti right now that's working with young Haitian boys, trying to avoid their trafficability, I guess I should say. So,
Hmm.
Mhm.
Now, the talking points that you're talking about, Jennifer, Vern or Farron, did you send those out? Because,
Yes. Yeah, I
Okay.
attached those to one of the emails that I sent all of you on.
Okay.
That's the one that has the law at the top. It has the law, just to give an explainer of why and what we're doing here. And then the talking points, I think, are under that, right?
right.
all right, I'll have to go a little bit deeper into my file. I've got the I guess it's the press release from the AG office and so forth, but I don't have that in my human trafficking file, maybe in my email file. Vern, what I would like to do is, if I can get 120 of those, well, maybe like 150 of the posters, is send to each of my clubs, send 2 of them. We'll put it in the February newsletter, or I'll send something out specifically, send them to my AGs, and then include that they can contact you for more and that they will be available at PETS. And I think that way I have the ability to give a message to them that we want them to participate in this. They know this, but never hurts to reiterate that, rather than just giving. I disagree with Vern. I don't think people will be wanting to print a whole lot on their dime and good looking stock and so forth. That's what I'm afraid of.
And that's just it. That's what I was concerned about a little bit too. That's why we were looking through some of the paper stock we have here, and we do have some glossy paper that's pretty durable that we use for the two languages that we just sent out today. But not everybody has that. I mean, if you're just
Right.
printing off on paper, all it's gotta
Right.
do is get wet and it disintegrates.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good. I would also suggest, Fred, maybe you said this and I just missed it, but I would suggest also sending the link to the talking points, because that
Oh,
really,
absolutely.
I think you
Yeah.
said that, because I feel like once people read what the law is and the talking points, and you're aware of what this is, then a lot of people feel motivated to act, to do
Yes.
something to help, and then they're the posters. And that's your bit to help. So I think they go hand in hand. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I've been very pleased, at least, again, anecdotally, what I've been hearing from clubs about them having a guest speaker on the topic, or interested in getting a guest speaker, or interested in doing some kind of activity around ending
Good.
human trafficking. So I feel good about that. I feel there is a little bit of a motivation, but when the rubber meets the road, what will they do? Who knows? But
You
we'll
know,
keep plugging away.
I was just thinking when you said that, if there are a lot of people who are interested in guest speakers, I'm laughing because, that's usually me, which I'm happy to do if possible. However, I also know people in 4 corners of the state who are well qualified to speak. And these are individuals who are providing services to victims in your communities. And I would be happy to refer people to other folks too. So it's not always me. Unless people specifically want me, and I can try to do that if I can, but I'm not sure some of you know that I've cut back my hours slightly in the office in order to fulfill the Peace Fellowship academic requirement. So I am in the office 2 days a week, working from home 2 days, and then doing my fellowship work the 5th day. So I feel like I have a lot of people that I could also bring into this as far as qualified presenters go.
Would you feel comfortable providing that list of names and email addresses so we can get that out with the posters?
I don't know about that, because
Okay,
I don't want to be
fair enough.
endorsing. I don't want our office to be endorsing anybody. I'm more thinking if someone had a question, they could call me and I could make a suggestion, or even reach out to the person myself and see if they're comfortable with it. Probably better
Okay.
idea.
Fair enough. Fair
So
enough.
there's a part of me that, and did I cut you off, Patty? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, that's okay. Go ahead.
Well, there's a part of me that suggests something like this really needs to be almost coordinated throughout the state. And if we have 8.5 by 11 copies already printed, and I don't know how many that we've got, and Farron, if you're talking about sending 2 to each club, it's really not that expensive if we just put 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, in a manila envelope and send it to all our club presidents, and they all get it at the same time. The DG network and the AG network and the club president network works, but it's not 100% efficient. And the only way that we can ensure that it gets from origination point to destination point is the post office. And we can't necessarily agree it's all going to be on the same day, but at least it's going to get there. And so I don't know how many 8.5 by 11s you have. I would be less. It's a little less, or it's a little harder to do the 11 by 17s, but what's your number on the 8.5 by 11s, Farron? At least on our district, I would take that expense, and if we didn't have it in the budget, I'd just pay for it myself just to make sure we got it there. So
I'm gonna have an invoice for you, Vern.
he says that now that he's taken all my meal money from all the dadgum dinner, DG dinners, Jiminy Cricket. So
Yeah, I challenged him a little bit on Thursday. We ate out at Luis's place, so it was quite fun. Fred, you don't know where that's at, but it's a pretty nice place here in Topeka. Yeah, but what you're talking about though, we've got 112 clubs and within the 3 districts here, and that's 448 posters. I've got way over that.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm certainly willing, if you want to send to me for our 60 or our 56 clubs, because this would not go to the Oklahoma clubs.
right.
But if you send me the 56 times 2, 3, whatever
How about
stays.
4?
At the, yeah.
How about
4.
how about I send you 225 of them?
Okay. And
All 8.5 by 11?
yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
That's easy to
send me 250 so I can get them out to the AGs and
make
so
it
forth as
250.
well. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll commit to getting them out with the talking points and with a message from me to the AGs within a week or so after receiving them.
Excellent. So I can do that. I can do that. I can have that done tomorrow. Just
Okay.
shoot me the address you want it to go to. I'll have it UPS to you.
Okay.
And then I
So
would just-
Jennifer, I have a question.
Yep.
So I think one of the things that we've been really mentioning when we talk about this is that it's put them in sexually content businesses or whatever it is. But the law really, the mandate is really about putting them anywhere that any employer who is mandated to have employment law posters up,
Yeah,
which would be a staffing agency like me. And
right.
I
Pretty much
caution you, I
every
guess, when,
business.
yes, I caution you when you talk to people about distributing these, if they get it in their head that they have to take them to the strip joint or
They're
to the
not gonna wanna
massage
do
parlor,
it.
they're not going to want to do it.
Right,
And those businesses probably aren't going to want to post it either. Whereas
Right.
if you think about, okay, let's take them to the beauty salon because we know the victims come in there. And the beauty salon is probably more likely to post it, and the Rotarians are more likely to actually take it there.
right.
So
Be
I
more
think we
comfortable with
kind
that.
of tend to talk to people, to Rotarians, use in the wrong context, because they're not going to go to the strip parlor and ask them to put it up. They're not going to go to the
No, and I
massage
wouldn't
parlor.
really, I mean, I don't necessarily want them to do that. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, they need
Right.
to be there and we need to get them there and we will work on that. But I think Patty makes a really good point that we want to make this as easy as possible for Rotarians, whatever they're the most comfortable with. And this could be their business, their neighbor's business, the business
Yeah.
across the street.
Farron's
We need to make it
business.
easy,
Right. I've
Yeah.
already got it up in my office. So
right?
I
So do we.
was,
Yeah,
well,
so do
I
I.
bet you do. You created them.
I hope our Rotarians don't know where the strip clubs are.
Well, exactly,
and-
right?
And here's the thing, Patty and Jennifer, where my location is here, Baby Dolls is just down the street.
If you're
And,
willing to do that, that would be immensely helpful.
but
yeah.
I
They're
haven't,
not going to leave it up.
oh, no, they're
Right.
not. And if you see the 3 hotels that are just south of this
Yeah.
building, I mean, they're all, I know there's trafficking going in there every day.
Right.
I mean.
Whatever people are comfortable with, it'll all help. Every one of them will help.
Well, that's why I think, your hotels, your convenience stores, your fast food places, they're
Nail
owned,
salons.
yeah,
Mhm.
they're owned by reputable business owners there that,
Right, they want to be in compliance.
yeah,
Right.
so I think, we gotta be smart about this whole process. And let's take the easy hanging fruit and go that
Exactly.
process. So, because we
Yeah.
still just have a limited supply, even though we got a lot, let's make some good decisions and then work from there. So, and from our district standpoint, I mean, Farron, I just sent them to Mandy and I'll tell Mandy to get us a supply of envelopes and get them put away and get them in the mail to our governors, because she's the one that's got the addresses. So,
How many do you want me to send to Mandy?
well, I'd say, to me, it's kind of a wherever the postage break is. I don't know what the size of the weight of the poster, but probably a half dozen for each club. And then if she sends 5 or 4 on the postage break, whatever it is, but at least send her at least a half dozen for each club. Now, Mandy will be at Pets, won't she?
Yes.
Okay, so how many do we want at Pets? Because you just will make that one shipment or one direction or the other anyway. So
Well, Pets would be a good place to bring those 11 by 17s too.
absolutely, yeah.
Because the 8.5 by 11s, those are super easy. We don't have to really think about that too much. And plus we, in our office, we got a UPS account where we get a break on shipping through UPS. So it's a lot easier that way. And UPS is way more reliable because I've had some really bad experiences with the mail here lately.
So can we send the 11/17s to you, Fred, just to have for Pets, and then whatever is left over, we can split up and I can bring back after Pets?
I'm gonna be up there.
Karen's coming down.
Yeah, I
Karen.
can just bring him.
Okay, well, let's just do that. And then
Yeah.
we'll just, we can split them up after the conference, whatever's left over, and get them
Yep.
distributed from there, so.
Okay, so 250 posters to Fred and half a dozen per club, Vern, is 264. So you want me to send her like 275, something like that?
Send her 300. Think it,
All right.
you've got plenty of them. Let's get
Well,
them.
and I can always get more. It's literally 5 minutes away.
Yeah,
and
we've got tons.
As I said to Jennifer, it just gives me another excuse to go eat at Four Guys for lunch.
So let's step, Jennifer, what's your plan? I mean, I know we're talking Rotary, but what's your plan to get rid of them, or not get rid of them, distribute them as
Right.
it is?
So we plan on sending them out to all of the hospitals in the state, because they're listed on the list.
Good.
And we've also sent them out in the past to all of the healthcare facilities licensed with KDHE. So we'll probably re-up that. We've also given them to KDOT to put them in all the state-owned rest areas, visitor centers, that sort of thing. And other groups that we work with. So,
I think it would be good to know that.
okay, Right.
So we can duplicate.
So we're not,
Duplicating.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, this is good.
Well, I'll get those posters out to you tomorrow, to both of you. And Vern, do you want me to send it to your house or to your work address?
Oh, you're gonna send it to Mandy so she can make
Oh,
it.
Mandy, that's right. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
send, yeah.
Now, I did a deal for the newsletter. So Patty, were you gonna do anything in the newsletter on human trafficking?
No, Usha she wrote up a nice article about the proclamations,
Okay. so
not
this
about
will
the
be-
posters.
This should be complimentary to that then. Farron, I didn't know if you were gonna do anything. Are you gonna write anything up or?
For this,
Yeah.
or actually I was gonna do something for Gathering for Good, but that was.
Okay,
Yeah.
do that then. So both of you know that there will be something in that about this in the February newsletter then. So
Great.
good. All
We'll have
right,
something as well.
Good.
sounds good, guys.
Good. Thank you guys very
Ready.
much for your willingness
Thank
to
you.
partner. We really appreciate
Absolutely.
all of you. So thank you very
Jennifer,
much.
Thank you.
Do you work for the
See you
state?
tomorrow, Jennifer.
Yes, Patty. Yeah, I work for the Attorney General's office.
You
I've
do, okay.
been in the position for almost 9 years, so for quite some time doing this work.
Very good. Well, I look forward to meeting you at some point. I don't
Yeah,
know
me
when.
too. I
Yeah.
hope so. Thank you
But
all
thank
very
you
much.
for partnering.
See
Yeah.
ya.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Guys,
Good night.
Bye.
good night.
Good night.